Bueno, my dear people. Question. What do you know about Friday the 13th? Friday the 13th. Well, sometimes Tuesday the 13th. In some countries is Friday the 13th. In other ones is Friday the 13th. What do you know about that day? What have you ever listened about it?
Happened something bad.
What exactly?
As
So,
a mythic belief.
and do you believe on that, Sarita?
No,
No.
I don't
Okay.
think so. No.
Okay, okay. Well, Friday the 13th is especially like in North America and like in the biggest part of the American continent. They believe that Friday the 13th it's an unlucky day, it's a day with bad luck. In Europe, they consider that Tuesday the 13th it's the day of bad luck, no? So okay, so that's it's a day that something bad can happen. Okay. Maho, do you believe on that? Do you have those superstitions about it or not really?
No, teacher, I don't care.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't care
okay.
about that.
Okay, very good. And do you know what it's a black moth? Black moth? It's an animal. Do you know which one is it?
No, teacher.
No idea. Anybody knows what is a black moth? No, no idea. Well, we're going to see one text in which you are going to know first the animal and second what are the perceptions that the people have about that animal because that is something that happens more here in Colombia. It's something more colloquial and it's a superstition that the people have here, no? About Friday the 13th, it's more like more American superstition or more from other different countries, but here we have this superstition a lot. Well, the black moth is this animal that we have here, right? It's similar to a butterfly, but it's not a butterfly. It's a moth. Moth, it means polilla, right? So, and in this specifically, this one, it's a black moth. It's big one and it's very dark. It's not per se black, but it's very big, right? They have the particularity that they pose or they stand over different walls and they stay there for a long time. Yeah. So I suppose that you have seen any in your life, anytime you have seen this animal, maybe in your house or maybe in a place, and they stay there for a long time. Have you seen it?
Yes, of course.
Do you like them, Sarita, or do you fear
No,
them?
I don't like. No, I don't like it because it's too big.
It's very
But I
big,
don't care
right?
if it's in my home.
Ah, so
It,
you don't care. It's all right.
yeah, it's just that it's too big, so I don't like it. But I don't care if it's there.
Okay, okay, very good. That's good. Pedro, have you ever seen a black moth?
Hi, teacher. Yes, of course. Mm, Sometimes in the walls of the house it appears, and it moves just when we are close to it. So,
Yes,
so
exactly. It moves only when they need to move because if not, they stay there.
yeah.
Good. Okay, very good. Have you ever listened? What is the perception that the people, or what is the premonition? No, I forgot the superstition that the people have about these animals. In Colombia, we have a special superstition about those animals. Have you ever listened to it?
No, teacher. In my
No,
case,
never.
no.
Nobody. No. Well, what we do read in this case, it's like a text about something similar, but later we're going to see if we have ever listened what is the superstition that especially the old people have about that animal here in Colombia. Bueno, let's start. Santi, can you please start to read, my friend? Start with the first paragraph until here, bro.
Okay. Seeing a black moth can be a sign of many things depending on your personal belief and interpretation.
Okay, what is the meaning of beliefs? Do you remember what is the meaning of beliefs?
No.
Any
Creencias.
creencias, very, very excellent. So seeing a black moth can be a sign of many different things, but depends on your personal belief or interpretations. Okay, Sarita, continue.
Some people may see it as a bad omen. I don't know what that means. What that
Omen, it
means,
means
omen.
like como presagio or something like that.
Oh, okay. While others may see it as a message of
Guidance.
guidance or transformation.
Continue,
Here
continue.
are okay. Here are some possible meanings of seeing a black moth.
Good, very good. So what they say is that it can have different interpretations depending on your beliefs. If you are from America, if you're from Latin America, if you're from Europe, it depends, right? So, and sometimes can be seen, yes, or the people may see it as a bad omen, like a bad, like when we see something that is going to bring bad luck, like a black cat or something. But in other parts of the word, it's a message of guidance. What is the meaning of guidance?
Guía.
Como guía, ¿cierto? Yes, like help, like teaching, no, like guidance or transformation. Ready? So it can have different things. Here we're just going to see one that it's the one that we have here in Colombia. No, it's the one that we perceive the one that we possess here in our country. It's the most common one here, no? So it's when the people see it as a omen of death, like a premonition of death. Majo, go ahead until this period.
Death. In some cultures, black moths symbolize death. People claim that they are a sign of death because they are associated with darkness and the night, often when death will usually occur.
Exactly. Well, pronunciation of this word is associated. Ready? Associated.
Associated, right?
Excellent.
Teacher, occur is ocurrir.
Yeah, occur. Yeah, it's similar
Oh,
to happen. Ready? It's a word that we have.
mhm.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the people usually claim. What is the meaning of claim?
Como dice, clama.
Is
Oh,
similar to tell. Yes, it's a synonym of tell. When I say claim, I emphasize that the people say that and they strongly believe that is true. Ready? When I say, for example, that I claim that someone claims to be innocent, the person believes that is true, right? So the person is telling something with a lot of emotion, right? So in that case, the people claim that they are a sign of death because they are associated with darkness and Ready? Pedro, my friend, finish the text.
If you see a black moth, it might mean that someone close to you is going to die soon, or that you will probably face a loss or an end in your life.
Exactly, very good. So if you see a black moth, that is what the people say here in Colombia. It may mean that someone close to you, someone close to the family, or maybe someone in the family, it's going to die soon, or that you will probably face a loss, especially like someone that you love or something, or an end in your life. No, so not necessarily it's a death of the person, but it can be a death of a moment. When a moment finishes, it like the moment death dies, right? So in that case, it's also similar like facing a loss. What is the meaning of loss?
Perdida.
Una pérdida, very good. So, or an end in your life. Ready? So basically, we have like a lot of different interpretations about this animal. Well, in here, we mentioned the most common one here, which is about the dead, and that's it. Here, we're going to have one special expression, well, not expression, like sentence, in which we describe what the people express about him. Ready? When we do that, when we express what the people claim or what the people say about him, we are going to use a reporting clause. Ready? Do you remember, but maybe you remember, maybe you don't remember what it's report speech? Do you remember what it's report speech? reported speech. Do you remember that?
It's like the structure when we say something about someone.
Exactly. When we say reported speech, is similar to repeat. Repeat an information that somebody previously said, right? So in that case, what we're going to do is to use a structure in which we say that somebody said something. Ready? So in that case, we're going to have the subject number one. That is the person who tells the information. Ready? And then we're going to have a series of verbs. Usually we used to have the verb tell, or the verb say, or the verb ask, or the verb, well, basically we're those three, but we can have more. And then sometimes it's necessary to include the subject number two. Like for example, when we use the verb, the verb tell, sorry, it's accompanied with the subject number two. The verb say, no, it's not necessary, or the verb ask, yeah, it is accompanied with the subject number two. The subject number two is the person that is listening the message, right? The person that is paying attention to the message. If nobody is paying attention to the message, but it's a general message, well, it's better to use say and not including who, right? Or for example, claim, which is a verb that does not require the second subject, no? So it's just the people claim, that's it. But if I said the people tell, to whom? The people tell me, the people tell them, the people tell Maho, the people tell her, the people tell us, right? So in that case, it's necessary to include the second subject. And after that, we're going to have, well, different expressions. Wait a second, I'm going to read this part here. I'm going to have different expressions depending on the kind of sentence that we have. Yeah, we can have some report speech, which is a request, which is when the people ask for something. Yes, but normally, or in this case, we're going to have the preposition or the article that. That is optional, it's not always necessary, and what it's going to do is to introduce a complete sentence, something that the people say, a complete message. Ready? So that message is going to have one tense. Ready? Present simple, future simple, simple past, depending. But in this case, well, normally when we repeat it, we have to change that tense. But as in this case, we're talking about reporting, my God, superstitions, right? They are going to be things that they don't change, that they are always true. In that case, the verb is going to be always in the present. It's easy because we don't have to change, right? For example, in this case, we said that people claim that, and then the message. In this case, for example, people claim that they are, o sea, the moths are a sign of death because blah, 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 blah. But in that case, after the that, we include the message that we want to report. Ready? What is the purpose of this structure? Is simply repeating what other people said before. Yes? Of course, the subject number one can be people, can be, for example, something more specific and say like the grandmas, because it was especially the grandmas. Yeah, the grandmas claim that moths are a sign, da, 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 da. No, it's not the grandma's teacher, it's the grandpas. Okay, so the grandpas. So the subject number one, it's going to be that subject who is giving the information. And with some verbs that we're going to see in a second, it's necessary to include the second subject. Sometimes it's not, right? How do you feel until there? Clear the structure? Somebody said something, somebody claimed something. Yeah, until there, no problem.
Yes.
Yeah, it's easier, right? Bueno, very good. So let's go over here. One second. Over here, ready? So what we do over here, as I told you, it's just repeating what other people said. Ready? For example, Pedro, could you please read the first example over here, my friend?
In Turkey, many people agree that when someone goes on a journey You should pour some water on the ground behind him or her to bring the person's back safety.
Exactly, very good. So in that case, the verb is agree. What's the meaning of agree? Do you remember?
¿De acuerdo?
De acuerdo, estar de acuerdo, right? So in that case, acordar. So many people agree that, so they have the same opinion, agree that. The that is into parentheses because it's optional. I can say in Turkey, many people agree when someone da da da. But I recommend to use the that because I feel more complete and I feel that it's more understandable, the message. It's more clear, the message, but it's optional. If you don't want to use it, it's all right. So in that case, we say that in Turkey, many people agree that, and then the message. When someone goes da 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 da, you should pour da da da. Ready? Santi, number 2, my friend. Second example.
In
Venezuela.
Venezuela, some people say that if someone passes a broom over your feet, you will never get married.
Mhm. What is the meaning of a broom?
Escoba.
It's cool, all right. So here in Colombia, we have something similar, no? They say, ah, no me barra los pies. Why not? What is what the people say here about sweeping your feet? Have you ever listened about it or not?
Yes, a lot. I say it
And what is the belief here? What is the superstition?
because I'm not gonna marry anytime.
Exactly. So they say the people say that if you or if someone, any person passes a broom or sweep, like sorry, sweep your feet, barrer los pies, your feet, you will never get married, right? But that's one of the superstitions. In my case, I have listened here in Bogota, they say that the people say that if someone passes a broom over your feet, you will get married with a widow. Do you know what is the meaning of a widow?
La viuda.
Una viuda, exactly. So that if you get past the broom over your feet, you will get married with a widow. Yeah. So it's like, oh my God. It's a back omen, right? So in that case, as you can say, we can use any different verbs. Agree, say, tell, claim, so on, right? And then the inclusion of that it's going to introduce all the complete sentence that it's the superstition that the people believe or that the people are expressing, right? Some examples of verbs, like in order to do this kind of thing. Majo, could you please read the more formal ones?
More formal. Argue, assert, claim, report. Yep.
So argue, assert, blame, and report. Very good. What's the meaning of argue? Do you know what is the meaning of argue?
Como pelear y
Yeah,
argumentar.
exactly. So in that case, when I say
Discutir.
that, tell me.
Discutir. ¿No?
Exactly, discuss. So when I say that someone argues something, is that the person is argumenting, but energetically, no? So the person says, que sí, que así is right, like that's the way that's the way that I'm saying. So it's like, okay, when the people argue that, it's something that the people are expressing emphatically, ready? Assert, it means like point out, like señalar, right? Claim, we talk about like it's something that the people say like, yeah, I'm telling you that ta 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 ta, ready? And report, simply something that the people investigated before and then report, and that's it, right? And Sarita, more conventional.
More conversational. Admit, agree, assume, believe, doubt, explain, feel, say.
So admit, easy, agree, easy, assume, easy. Something that the people believe that is true, but is not sure. Believe, similar. Doubt, what is the meaning of doubt?
Duda.
Duda. So in that case, the people are feeling doubts about it. He's feeling like doubtful, like about it. But it's like trying to understand, like the people nowadays are doubting, yes, if the government is no sé, something like that. The people are not sure about it. So that's it. Explain, feel, and say, right? That's it. And they say that in reporting clauses, some verbs such as admit, agree, announce, comment, complain, confess, disclose, disclose, it means something similar to confess, explain, inform, and reveal are frequently followed. Here, it's also included the verb tell, is frequently followed by an indirect object. In this case, that should be retained for clarity. Yes. So to whom? Who was the person, the subject number two, who listened the information? Explain it to me, inform it to me, reveal it to me, admit to me, agree with me, announce it to me, comment it to me, complain with me, confess it to me, told me directly, right? Disclose it to me. So in that case, with those verbs, it's necessary to put the subject number two, the person that is listening the information. Ready? So, for example, Santi, the first example, man.
Several people agreed with me that logic, not superstition, is
Superstition.
decision is the best way to make decisions.
Very good, excellent. So, so several people, like different people, agreed with me, no? So it's the man is emphasizing that the people agreed with his opinion, right? So that the logic, no superstition, right? Pero, the last one.
Max explained to the teacher that a black cat never means bad luck in his country.
Exactly, very good. So Max explained to the teacher, not in general. I can say, of course, Max explained, and that's it. But sometimes, if I want to be more specific and more clear, I am going to have to include the indirect object, no? Sometimes with preposition, like in this case, for example, to, or for example, with, or sometimes directly, like for example, tell. Tell includes the object directly. So tells me, tells him, tells her, or for example, the verb ask. Ask me, ask him, ask them, so on, so on. Ready? Teacher, how can I remember the preposition that it's necessary? By repetition. There is not a rule that we can have in order to understand the preposition, but it's just by repetition, no? Checking, reading frequently those verbs are going to allow me to remember what is the preposition that it's usually used after the verb, okay? So if it's with, if it's about, if it's on, to, depends on the verb. Ready? Guys, questions until there, difficulties or problems? Is it clear? It's not clear. It's dark. It's
In the case of doubt, you have to use verb to be always, teacher, or could you tell us an example about
of
doubt?
course, my brother. For example, here in this class, yes, you doubt that the lock exists, right? That's it. You doubt. Simple present. Yes. It is something that none of you are sure. You told me like, teacher, I'm not superstitious. All of you told me like, I'm not superstitious. So all of you doubt that the log exists. Maybe there is like a little like how insecurity in the topic. So I'm saying like, you doubt it. Yes. I can use another verb, for example, deny. Do you remember what is the meaning of deny?
Negar.
Negar, very good. So it's less than doubted, no? So it's like going from claim, which is when you completely believe that is true. Doubt, like, okay, I'm not completely sure. and deny when I'm saying that no, it is not true. No, I'm saying that something is not true. So it's like completely true. I don't know, 50-50 and completely false, right? So those three verbs. But yeah, very good. I mean, without, you can use it in present, in past, in present perfect. For example, one more. Well, let me just erase it here. No sé, let's see. Okay, good. Girls have always doubt, doubted, sorry, that guys are honest. They have always doubted that guys are honest. Subject number one, which is who is doing the action. In this case, it's not necessary to include an object because they have doubted for themselves. I mean, like nobody is receiving that action. Then the clause that, and then the sentence that guys are honest, right? So in that case, you can use these kind of verbs in any different tenses, present, past, whatever that you want. Okay, Pedro? Yes?
Yes, teacher.
Good, excellent. It's very good. Any other questions so far over here? Problems? No? Is that all right? Oh, good. Maybe very good. Many times, or most of the times, these superstitions are expressed by the old people. Yeah, so in general, by the people. So they became superstitions because the people spread these kind of beliefs around the other people, right? So usually the subject number one here it's people. Yes, so sometimes it's a different one. For example, I said like the Colombian people, the American people, yeah. Or sometimes I said like the Colombian grandmothers. It's a superstition, especially of them, right? For example, in New Year, my grandma, and I think it's a thing of the grandmas, not especially of the grandpas or the daddies or the friends. It's more like the grandma or the family women, no? They always, or let's say that the family women argue energetically that you should have lentils on your pockets, that you should have lentils on your pockets on New Year, of course. So your mother usually probably gives you like a feast of lentils. You know what are lentils?
Como lentejas.
Yes, exactly. So the family women usually argue that you should have lentils on your pockets. That is a superstition that we have here. Have you ever listened about it? Yes. Yes, of course. Or no?
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
It's pretty common in Colombian families, no? That the people should have lentils on your pockets. But it's a superstition that it's especially promoted by the family women. Yes. In that case, they have a specific subject. But most of the times that is not the case. For example, here I said many people. Okay, some people. When okay, several people. Okay, yes. So the subject is very wide. It's not specific, but it's very general. In that case, as you know, when we have a subject that is not completely clear, we have the possibility to use the passive voice. Here, it's also possible to use the passive voice, right? How can I use it? It's mega simple. It's only using it plus the verb to be plus the reporting verb in past participle. For example, it is agreed that when someone in Turkey, it is agreed that blah blah blah. Instead of saying many people, I changed that for it and the verb to be and the verb in past participle. It is said in Venezuela. It is said that blah 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 that is no sé qué. Yes. So if I want to use different like a different structure, not only using people say, people believe, people understand, people claim. No, it's better to use the passive voice because using people it's irrelevant. So it's not clear who's that people. So it's irrelevant and it's better to use the passive voice of that verb. Ready? It's very simple. It's only using verb to be, it, verb to be, and then the verb in past participle. It is argued, it is asserted, it is claimed, it is reported. And of course, it can be also changed to the other different tenses. For example, in the past, it was assumed that slavery was right. Yeah, and of course it was not, but in the past, it was assumed that slavery, what is the meaning of slavery?
Esclavismo.
Esclavitud, yes, very good, exactly. So it was assumed, it, verb to be, of course, in past, because it's in the past, and then the verb in past participle with the verb assume, right? So that it's more conversation, right? So I can do this kind of reports in active voice, in passive voice, in present past or future, present continuous, past continuous, the one that you prefer, right? So we have different ways on doing this kind of reports, okay? Guys, any questions, difficulties over here, problems? All good, all fine?
Yes, teacher, good.
Very good. Well, I know that you are not superstitious people. Maybe you don't believe on witches or on witchcraft. What is the meaning of witchcraft? Se me olvidan las palabras, I'm sorry. Witchcraft? What is the meaning of that? Witchcraft.
Como hechiceros o algo así.
Brujería.
Sorry, Santi?
Brujería.
Brujería. Witch, it's, you know, like the women, you know, las brujas. Witchcraft is brujería. For the man, it's wizard. Right? So wizard, witches, witchcraft, that's it. Maybe you don't believe on that. But most certainly you probably have one superstition. Maybe not about that supernatural thing, but habits that become superstitions, right? In that case, it's also possible to express it with this structure. For it, well, not of course with passive voice because it's especially of you, but you can express it with one of these verbs, right? For example, and this is true. I argue that to be unpunctual. Oh my God, unpunctual can cause terrible problems. Can cause trouble in general, but I believe that if I am unpunctual, I am going to have like big problems. When most of the people is unpunctual, I am not. I feel terrified about being unpunctual. No? So that's my superstition. If I argue that if I am unpunctual, I am going to have the worst troubles of all, right? What about you? Think on that superstition that is not superstition, but it's something that you believe, yeah? And try to express it. Some things that you believe that probably the other people don't.
Sure, it is believed that when the owls sing in the night, something goes to die. Mm,
Is that so?
the,
When the owls sing?
the owls
Yeah.
goes to sing in the night.
Mhm.
Some people going to die.
Oh my God. But around there, I mean, like when when they are going to sing, when they sing is because somebody is going to die around. Yes?
Yeah, yes, teacher.
Oh my God. Okay. And do you believe that is true?
No, teacher.
No, no, you don't believe.
No.
Okay, very good. Okay. Well, anybody else? But I was asking like something more realistic that you believe that is true. For example, teacher, I believe that if I wake up with the left foot, I am going to have a terrible day, maybe, probably, or something like that. So one superstition that you have, let me know.
I have one, teacher.
Yeah.
I argue that you shouldn't claim victory until you finish.
Wonderful. That's a common one, and it's very, very, very real, no? So Santiago says, I heard that. Okay, so it's not his superstition, but he has heard it, right? So he heard that you shouldn't claim victory until you finish. Very good. Excellent. Something very important to learn. Thank you, Santi. Sarita, Majo, any superstitions?
For me, teacher, I think if I had a bad feeling about something, I I wouldn't know. I don't know how to say it. It's like um I wouldn't do it.
Okay,
No,
very
I
good.
don't know if
So
I say would,
more or less. So Sarita, when you have
more or less.
a hunch, it means
Uh-huh.
like something that it's on your heart saying that, my God, something like that, no? So like a strange feeling. Mhm.
Yeah,
So
yes, teacher.
exactly. So Sarah says that,
It's because something wrong is gonna happen or something bad is gonna happen.
okay, very good. So if Sarah, well, Sarah asserts or Sarah claims that if she has a hunch, she shouldn't do the action because something bad is going to happen, right? So she believes very a lot in her intuition, right? Very good. Muy bien, Sarita. Almajo, what about you? Anything else?
Mm, teacher, I don't have superstitions. Like
Nothing.
really, I don't know. I don't have any. But well, I have a belief that it's not, for me, it's not a superstition. It's a total and real belief. And I believe that people, this may sound rude, or people don't like it, but I believe that if people don't believe in Jesus Christ, when they die, they're going to hell.
Okay, that's yeah. That is our first model in Catholicism, right? So that
I'm
people,
Christian, not
oh,
Catholicism.
you're not Catholic, you're Christian.
No, it's different, totally different. It's the opposite.
Is that so?
For
Well,
me,
but
it is.
okay, very but the moral is, I mean, believing in Jesus is the central point here, right?
Mhm.
Mhm. Well, good, very good. It's a belief. It's great. That's great. Okay, but well, for example, I don't know, the women usually have some beliefs, like for example, what happen if you cut your hair in a full moon? I really don't know, but I have listened some things about like women assert or women claim that if you cut your is in a full moon or in a I don't remember how in what part of the moon is that. Have you ever listened about it? That if you cut your hair.
Yes, a friend is like obsessed with that, and and she always on full moon she cuts her hair because she thinks that it will grow better and healthier and something like that.
That's it. So the women claim, well, some women, no, not all of them, some women claim that if you cut your hair on a full moon, it will grow again healthier and better and prettier and so on and so on, right? So
Oh,
yeah, that's
teacher,
it.
I I have heard another thing about the full moon, and it is if your period, if you're a woman, and if your period match with the full moon, you're gonna have like some things in your life and something like that,
No
like
way,
good
seriously?
news. Yes, something like that.
Okay, very good. That's the one that I haven't heard about it. Okay. Great, excellent. So that's the idea of those common beliefs, no? So they are not superstition because it's not super like paranormal or something, but they are common beliefs. Okay, very good. So In this case, those are the structures that we can use in order to describe what the people say or what the people believe about different topics. And it's simply using a report speech structure. And even it's easier because in that case, we don't have to change the tense because it's something that is going to be believed always, always. So it doesn't change. For that reason, we continue on the simple present. That's it. Guys, have you ever seen any of these superstitions that we have on here? Yeah, over here. What about these superstitions that we have here? Have you ever, well, the black moth, okay, or we already discussed it, but what about the other four? Have you ever listened about it?
Black cat
Hmm.
means bad luck.
But okay, Santi, so tell me complete, bro. So who says that? The women, the people in general, what do you think?
Some some people.
Some people. So we can say some people or simply it is choose a verb. It is
Mhm. I don't know. Is
the one that you prefer. It's all right. Choose one. There you go.
is assume.
Yes, good, excellent. Yeah. So it is assumed because the subject is not clear, it's only people, so we can better use it in passive voice. It is assumed that, ahora sí, black cats are, what black cats mean bad luck, right? Okay, very good. Listo, muy bien, very good. What else about the ladder? About the yellow underpants or
Mm,
underwear?
it is it is claimed by some people that if you wear yellow underwear on New Year's Eve, you're gonna be prosper on the next year,
Exactly.
right?
So that's that's why it is very common to see on December big piles of yellow underwear on the supermarkets, on the convenience stores. So you can see big piles of yellow underwear. Some of them beautiful, some of them ugly, but it's because it is asserted or it is claimed that if you wear yellow underwear, you will be prosperous and successful the year forthcoming, right? Thank you, Majo. Very good. What about the other two? What about the broken mirror? What about the ladder?
I say, teacher, it's believed that you have a broken mirror, you had a bad luck.
Very good. That in that case, it's kind of a conditional, no? So it is believed that if you have a broken mirror, you'll have how many years? Because it comes with years and everything, no? So
7.
you'll have 7 years of bad luck, no? So that's common. It's very good. And any other about the ladder? Do you remember that one? Any ideas about the ladder?
Some people uh, believe that if they pass through the ladder,
Mm-hmm.
uh, maybe they could have bad luck or
Yes, exactly like that. So some people believe, or it is believed that, by some people, that if they go or they if they pass through or under the ladder, they could have bad luck or they will have bad luck. No? So that's great. Very good. Right? That's it. So in that case, this structure is going to allow me to express what other people believe, say, tell, discuss, argue, assume, well, all of those verbs, which are reporting verbs, and also to describe about what other people have as habits, not like as common beliefs. Yes, if they believe, for example, like in Jesus or not, if they are punctual or not, everything of that is going to be also possible to be described through this structure. Ready? Now, in this case, I'm going to have some little words which are called adverbs. Ready? The adverbs are words that usually finish in "ly." Do you remember what is the meaning of "ly"? When a word finishes in "ly"? You remember what is that? When the word finishes in "ly", what is the meaning of that? Idea?
Like mente.
Yes, exactly, Majo. Yes, exactly like that. When we see a word that finishes in "ly", it's because in Spanish it means mente. No, that of course is not mind, no, but it's a suffix. Suffix, it means un sufijo. Suffix. Yeah, it means like an ending, una terminación, that it's always the same, right? So in that case, the suffix "ly", it means mente in Spanish. It's going to be a suffix that is used for adverbs. And the adverbs are words that we use to modify the sentence at all, right? Depending on the position that I use it, can be at the beginning or in the middle or before the verb, I can modify in a specific part. If, for example, I said unquestionably, the studios are da, 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 so in that case, the adverb is modifying all the sentence, right? But I can say, for example, box office profits will possibly continue to fall, da, 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 because that possibly is modifying especially the verb, right? So in that case, guys, these adverbs are going to be used in order to express my intention with that sentence, right? For example, you told me, sure, to be honest, I don't have any superstitions. It's something that you could have said honestly speaking or honestly talking or something like that. We're going to have adverbs for everything, everything, everything. Yes. For example, for expressing certainty when I am sure about something, when I'm not so sure, when I am not certain. So apparently, seemingly, supposedly, right? When I am sure it's clearly, definitely, obviously, unquestionably, surely, so on, so on. Ready? When it's only a possibility or a probability, you can use possibly, potentially, probably. Yes. If you are talking about frankly, like I mean, with the truth, frankly, honestly, seriously, yes, for summarizing, basically, essentially, fundamentally, mainly, overall, right? For everything. For example, amazingly, not surprisingly, predictably, for fortunately, unfortunately, right? These adverbs are going to help me to modify my sentences, like in order to express my ideas with more like clarity. So when I express something, I can be as clear as possible in order to express what I want to express. If it's something that I believe that it's not so sure, apparently, right? So, pardon, I'm sorry. So apparently, some people in South Africa believe that blah blah blah, right? And the people in Colombia believe that you can potentially die if you blah blah blah, right? Frankly, I am a person who does not believe on any superstitions. Da, 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 da. So the adverbs are going to be very valuable tools or resources that I can have in order to modify my sentences. Okay, so please check some of them, start like trying to learn them, include it into the daily speech. It's gonna be super important for expressing my intentions clearly. Ready? Guys, questions on this part of it's just vocabulary, but it's like an important vocabulary. Questions about it, difficulties, anything? No, all fine.
No, teacher.
All good. Ready, very good. Okay, my dear people. So in that case, we're gonna be just ending for tonight. See you again on Tuesday? No, Thursday?
Thursday.
Thursday. So see you again on Thursday, I think at 8 p.m. Yes. So
Yes.
have a good rest of the week. See you there. If you have questions or problems with the activities, text me right away. And that's it. Okay. So I will be very attentive of you. Have a good night. Thank you for the participation and for the attention. Okay.
Okay, teacher. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank
Have a
you,
good
teacher.
night. Sleep tight.